Okay.
Hi parents, welcome to part 2 of the Parent Education Night. Today we are going to be presenting the language materials of Ms. Sunanda and Ms. Alejandra. In a Montessori classroom, when we say language materials, it includes all about reading, pre-writing exercises, writing exercises, and not only the children reading the books to us, but us reading the books to them, understanding how much they're able to comprehend. Although the comprehending skill typically does not develop full swing up until the age of 7, 8, but still whatever little they can understand and respond back to us is appreciated, just to get an idea as in how much the children understand. So in a Montessori classroom, they also say that the writing comes before reading, because there are a lot of materials like movable alphabets that kind of helps them to express their feelings, like just by writing down. How do they write it down? Just by hearing the sounds of each word, like cat, cat. They don't even need to hold a pencil and start writing the word. They'll be easily able to form a word, or even write a word, something. It could be like a word like tiger. They might not even be able to spell it correctly, but they will just hear the sounds that's present in the word tiger, and they'll be able to put it down with the mobile alphabet. So typically the tiger word is spelled as T-I-G-R. Tiger. So the E is always missing in most of the cases, but that's okay. It's just a form for them to express themselves, and the mobile alphabet does that really well. But we'll go into more details when we get to that. Now we're going to start with part 1 of the language material, that is enrichment of the vocabulary. In this phase, the children are introduced to things around us, something simple as a classroom material, home, animal names, colors, shapes, etc.
We have some cards where they are learning vocabulary about home, about school. Bible alphabet. They are familiar with the material that we have in the classroom.
Okay, so when Ms. Alejandra was showing all those materials and things that's available in the classroom, it is very interesting because that really helps the children to kind of get a sense of what they are working on. So every time we ask them to get like a red and blue rod, or a red rod, or a brown stair, they exactly know what we are talking about, because in a big classroom like this with so many multiple materials that they are not familiarized with, it can be a little hard for a 3-year-old to be moving around the classroom trying to figure out their material. So these ones are pretty cool. And more advanced children, they even take it to the next level. They play a game like labeling the classroom. They go about reading the names of the material, and they go and label the classroom too. So that is part 1 of the enrichment of vocabulary. Part 2 involves a 3-part card. Ms. Alejandra, if you don't mind, please.
This one card
3-part card is here. Okay. So here is the 3-part card. Which one do you farmer? Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have the name for the farmer? The ticket.
And the label.
And the label is here. It's there. It's coming.
Farmer.
Perfect. So this is what a 3-part card typically looks like. Each teacher might have a different name for it. So here the children are just basically learning, looking at the picture of a farmer, and then they know this one is a picture of a farmer and this one says a farmer. And here we are challenging them to the next level. Basically, all they are going to be doing is taking the picture of the word farmer in their memory, and they're going to just match it with a card that says farmer to the picture of the farmer here. So this is the second part of the vocabulary card.
And we have triple cards around the classroom for everything.
So the thing is, what Ms. Alejandra says is we have 3-part cards for different areas of the classroom. There'll be 3-part cards for geography material, science materials, of course not math materials, but all the reading based programs, they have 3-part cards for all of the classroom areas. So the next one is So let me move on to the next one. So we are moving on to the next part that involves the pre-writing exercises. So that is going to be involving few different exercises put together. First is going to be something push pinning work. Miss Sunanda, would you like to say a few things about the
Push pinning is very important because it develops their pencil grasp muscle, because you are holding the push pin like this, and actually that is what is it doing is getting you ready for writing. So you immediately, we don't give them pencil to write. It will be all pre-writing exercises like Medellin sets, push pinning, or the chalkboard. So many of the parents will say, shall we start practicing writing at home? And I always encourage, as a Montessori teacher, we always encourage to start with something like chalkboards. And push pinning is something you can also do at home. You have those push pins which you use for putting something on the wall. So you can actually have that at home and ask them to just push pin the line. That's it. And it builds eye and hand coordination, focus, as well as pencil grasp muscles.
Yes.
Which helps them to prepare even for reading in future.
Yes. So even before the chalkboard is introduced, we have a sand tray. Like back in the, sorry, Miss Alejandra.
Oh yeah, I was trying to show that the kids, they are pinpointing the line, but they can see what they are doing. When you see that we are doing this, is because we are confirming what they are doing.
The holes should be super close so that it's easy to rip out. Many of you might have seen your children bringing home different shapes from classroom. So that's what they're doing. They're using the push pin to make tiny holes. And then once it's all completely done, what we do is we peel it out completely so that you see this shape of a square. So that is one of the very important pre-writing exercises. Another one is when we get started to truly start writing it, we have something called the sandbox. I know Miss Sunanda has flour, which is also a very good option because the texture, it feels super soft to their touch. And basically what they do is they start tracing
any shape. First they just start with any shape, and then lines or circle. And what is it doing is actually preparing them to writing in future.
Yes. So from sandbox we move on to the chalkboard, but the chalkboard without lines. So the chalkboard without lines is more forgiving for the children because they don't have to really focus on writing it within the line, which can be really more challenging for the children to do. But other than that, after that we do move on to the chalkboard with lines here. And in my classroom, what I do is I ask the children to just draw straight lines across or just make circles within the lines, just to keep the hand movement strong. Sometimes you might just see them drawing pictures of circles. And I don't know, some of you might even have seen children drawing their own pictures, like a big face and, like different expression shapes. But that's okay. We encourage anything that you can hold on to, whatever the children can do as a good pencil girl. What else do you want to talk about?
Yes, I mean, it's just developing their imagination. It can be flower, or sometimes they don't want to do maybe sounds. They don't want to do the sound, so we just said, okay, do whatever you want to do. They'll just make nothing but the scribble, but that is also helping them to learn to hold a pencil for future. So any work is a work in the classroom. It is always going to indirectly teach something to the children. There is always a purpose behind every lesson in the Montessori classroom.
I know, true, yes. So that is one of the pre-writing exercises we have. So then we move on to what we call the sandpaper alphabets. So sandpaper letters are these ones here. So we have two different colors, one for the vowels and one for the consonants. So usually the pink is for the consonant and the blue is for the vowels. And it stands out, every set of letters, there are letter families that the letters are sorted into, and every letter family will have one vowel, okay? So the consonant and vowels are divided in sets just for the children to learn the sounds more easily and to match up the sounds and make different the combination. So Miss Sunanda is holding the first set, right?
Yes. Yeah, we have
yes. So
a, t, d,
yeah.
But
I have different sets.
Yes. So we all have different training backgrounds. So all our letter families differed, as in our